Alright. The tomatoes are coming out today. The weather has been really cold this morning and it's now just got pretty hot, so might not have this jumper on for very long. But my tomatoes are doing pretty well. I've already taken out some of them. You'll see like some empty spots. Potted those on, I want to say 4 or 5 days ago. They're still indoors. They're in the under the grow light still. But I want to get these potted on because they are getting to a pretty good size now. And they are not leggy at all, which is lovely. I'm also going to plant out my cauliflowers because I built my second hoop house yesterday. Oh yeah, or the day before yesterday. So I'm going to plant out the brassicas in there just because it's getting too hot in this greenhouse. I think they're going to end up suffering if they're in here for very much longer. You see some of the foliage is getting pretty stressed. So I don't want them to bolt. I don't want them to bolt, so I'm going to be planting them outside where it gets a little bit cooler. The nighttime temperatures aren't getting that cold, and brassicas are pretty fine anyway. So, oh, and then I'm also going to be sowing. I bought some sunflower seeds yesterday because I want to successionally sow them so that I have sunflowers for more than just like 1 week. I'm going to sow some more parsley today because I'm going to pull up all that parsley, all this parsley. Oh, you can't really see it on the camera, but it is huge. I just want to get rid of it. It's just I need to prepare that space, and then I'm going to be sowing my runner beans into pots, but I'm not sure if I'm going to keep them in here because you know they're going to get dug up. So we'll see. April. Maybe I'll bring them indoors. Maybe I'll just plant like 1 tray, take them indoors until they germinate, and then I'll bring them out. Cool. Okay, but let me show you some things. What am I going to show you? My carrots haven't germinated yet. My parsnips haven't. Let's get outside and plant the cauliflowers because it's too hot in here, and I don't want to throw a jumper off. So they are definitely ready to go out. I mean, I know they've only been in this pot for like a week. I don't suspect they would have rooted very deep into them just yet, but they're so ready to get out. And it will free up a little bit of space in here, and whoops, it just means that I don't have to really worry about them getting too dry because they're not going to get extremely hot outside like they do in here. This side, excuse the mess in the background, my red cabbages, they're getting really tall, which I'm not too keen on. I'm worrying that they're getting a bit too hot in here. I would like to take them outside, but I don't really know exactly where they're going yet. And then I've got another couple of cauliflowers there, and my chard in the back. But yeah, I'm going to plant out all these ones today. Probably, I think 8 is probably more than enough to fit in that bed. That'll probably be a bit of a tight squeeze, to be honest. And then just down here, we've got all of my lettuces. They did get dug up the day after I planted them. That's why you'll see there's one missing here. There was a huge hole right there, and all of these ones were scattered everywhere. So luckily I've managed to get them back into position, minus that one, and they're all doing all right. And I've been closing the greenhouse door over night time now so that the foxes don't dig them up again. So yeah. Let's get these planted. Okay, alright, here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 8 is going to be a real squeeze, but let's do it. I can always change it at a later date. Right, okay, so before I plant them, I added loads of organic matter to this bed last year, at some point between last year and this year, and then I let it sit. I covered it over with the weed membrane, let it sit for a long time. So I dug out all the weeds this morning because there were actually quite a few. It's because I've got this like couch grass that just spreads and comes up everywhere, but that's all gone. I'm going to add some manure to it. I've got some chicken pellets. I think it's chicken, I can't actually remember. I'm going to add some because brassicas are quite heavy feeders, and the more I feed them, the better they're going to grow, especially the cauliflowers, that they can get really big. Yeah, cool. So let's get this out of the way. I'll do a couple of handles because I always add a bit more later. Oh, that's plenty actually. One of the handful. Cool. And I want to kind of keep it to the surface because it's going to take a while for the brassicas to get established. So it'll give a bit of time for that to break down and then slowly release into the soil rather than it being deep in the soil before the plants even have established roots. Okay, and there's loads of like grass clippings in here from last year, which are absolutely fine. It's going to help like retain the moisture. It's kind of just on the surface as well, so it's not going to cause any issues. Really, I should probably only put 6 in here, but I'm going to go for 8, I think. Yeah, that's the worst that can happen. Okay. Yeah, I think just like that. And the soil is lovely and rich. Oh wow, I was not expecting them to have established their roots that much in such a short period. That was only since like the last video. Planted them up into these pots. The compost looks so good. And because this soil, I mixed it in with the dirt that's underneath the raised bed. It's kind of mixed in with my like base soil, which is really what you want. You don't want that like harsh divide between your compost and your base, like garden dirt, because that's just going to create like a cap. There we go. Oh, that looks lovely. These are going to really grow quick after this. Really, really quick. Right, I'll give these a good water in and then I'll put the cloche over the top and they are good to go. And I've got so much confidence with the cloche because that's going to keep the snails out, slugs out, butterflies out, basically the pigeons out. Anything that can eat these is going to keep them away. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I have a lot of faith in this cloche. Right. There we go. And I'll check them again for moisture tomorrow. That soil was nice and damp, to be fair, so I don't know that it will need water tomorrow, but I'll definitely check it until they are established. There we go. And that will keep them nice and safe. And they get plenty of light through there. Wicked. First thing planted properly. Well, apart from the potatoes, I guess, which are right here. Couple of the older ones are coming up. Oops, let's move that. But I don't see any new shoots of the ones that I planted the other day. I mean, there's a shoot there, but that may have been an old potato. This is a weed. I've added some charcoal as well to the top, just from like we did a fire the other day. So I've added some, so that'll break down into the soil and it will really help retain nutrients and moisture. It's really, really good. You can buy like biochar for your garden, very expensive, so, but it might be worth the investment if you are having some nutrient issues with your soil. At the moment I'm fine, but yeah, I've dug a lot of manure into this bed, so cool. Okay, let's move on. Right, sunflowers are very welcome. Right. I'll show you a couple of bits in here actually, because it's quite funny. I've really tried to build up a defense against these bastard mice. Let's put this down, put that back. Okay. Yeah, so as you guys know, I've had a lot of mice issues. I've built this little TP cloche over my sunflowers and my alyssums. It seems to have worked so far, but I've put a tray on the bottom so they can't get through the tray, obviously, unless they like chew through it. And I'm not saying like this mesh is completely like rodent proof, but they haven't touched it, so that's good. I think we're winning. And then my brassicas, they haven't touched. All my kale is doing good still, and everything else is doing good. So my lettuces are growing really well. You can now see like the different varieties. I think there may only be 2 different varieties, but we've got a lot of the reds and then a lot of the greens, and this one's actually, maybe we've got three or four varieties, but these are doing really well, and I think they're going to grow super quick, because I mean this has only been, I don't know, week, 2 weeks. I think I actually only did these ones the other day, and they're starting to grow really well, probably because of the heat we've got in here. But when they get to a couple of inches, I will probably put them out somewhere a bit cooler, because it's going to be too hot in here. They're just going to bolt, or I'll at least put them like lower to the ground, and I'll be keeping my vents open a lot more anyway. So, but yeah, they're doing wicked, really pleased. And I'm probably going to succession sow, so I'll probably sow a lot more of these seeds maybe in a month's time, just so that we try and get fresh leaves throughout the year, especially for all the barbecues and stuff. Okay, it's getting roasting in here. Okay, right, it's too hot in the greenhouse, so nice cooler air. Okay, so the camera angle is terrible, but this is a hill, so you really have to bear with me. There's no easy way of doing this. Just got some multi-purpose compost. It's like mid-range quality, nothing exciting. I didn't bring out any labels with me, so I'm probably going to try to let's do the Alicante first, because they are, I don't know, because the root systems on these aren't massively established. They are still quite small. Well, to be fair, it's not small, but it's not holding the cell together, which is basically the definition that it's still kind of small. So let's be really gentle, get these in. I will plant them slightly deeper than they were in the cell trays, but they're not etiolated, so I'm not really worried about that, about planting too deep. Let's try to make sure that doesn't fall over. I was really thinking it's too early to put the tomatoes out, but I think I'm actually going to put them out today, like leave them out. I've seen quite a few other people on YouTube doing this already, so that kind of gives me a bit of confidence. And I think some of them are a bit further north than me, which gives me more confidence, because we've had pretty good weather. Root systems, I mean, I'm not taking them out too well, to be fair, but see, any root systems that I've damaged, which is basically going to be all of them, I'll probably keep these in the shade, give them good water, keep them in the shade, just so they're not drying out quicker than they can kind of take up the moisture, which will really damage it. There we go, nice and deep. He's like shoulder deep in the soil there. But it's going to be absolutely perfect. They're going to create roots out of the stem, so I'm not worried at all. And it will give it a nice, like a larger root system. Okay, so that is all the alicantes planted up. I've never actually tried alicante before, but my boyfriend says it's good. He grew it a couple of years ago and he's asked me to grow it, so you know, that's what relationships are all about, compromise. I like the beefsteaks, and to be fair, I've grown beefsteak as well. These are actually doing really good. They're getting really quite big. Yeah, cool, so I've got 7 of those. I'm probably only going to keep about 4. Give a couple to my mum, 1 to my nan. Jobs are good and everyone's happy. Unless they're not nice, then everyone blame Jamie. Alright, these poor little guys are getting blown everywhere. So let's give them a good water. This is probably going to absolutely drown the shit out of them. Oh. Come on, just a little bit more and you're fine, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. Okay, it's done. It's just a small pinch. Oh shit. There we go, and you'll be fine. Okay, cool, right. Yeah, these are fresh out of the like propagator basically, so they're probably going to suffer very slightly and then they will pick up and be fine. I'm not concerned. Okay, now I'll go do the beefsteaks and then we are good with the tomatoes. Right, okay, I'm back after a little break. I needed that. Right, so I was gonna sow these seeds. I might do that off camera just because that's gonna, you know. And then I was looking, so I've made some plans on where the veggies are going, which beds they're going in. I've made a couple of plans, and there's only, and then I've kind of gone against my plans by planting the cauliflowers in that bed, but I'm thinking that's probably the best bed for them. It's got really high organic matter content. It's in the shadier part of the garden. It's not shady at all. It's just the intense afternoon heat is not as bad there, which is perfect for the brassicas. And then it's got the cloche, the fitted cloche, that is going to mean it's not going to get any pests. So that is like the ideal spot for it. I was originally going to put my sweet corn in there, but I've sown like 24 sweet corns. None of them have come up just yet, but I did only sow them 4 or 5 days ago. And that would have been too many sweet corns for that plot anyway. So I'm thinking the sweet corn maybe just needs to go somewhere else. Basically, my point of what I was saying is I'm going to try and put stuff where they need to go rather than me trying to stick too much to my plan, because at the end of the day, if the sweet corn don't come up and then I've put the brassicas in a different place because I'm thinking, oh, the sweet corn are going to go there, it's a wasted opportunity. Don't know what I'm talking about. I also caved and I bought some sweet peas. I do actually, the last pot that I sowed of sweet peas, where I think there's 3 seeds left, one of them has come up. They're indoors, they're in the kitchen. They're not coming out until they're this size, all right? And I'm gonna like attach some sort of mouse trap to them. Well, not really, but this is a nice mix. It's just like mixed colors, very nice. I've actually never, well, I don't think I've ever bought sweet peas before. I always grow them from seed. So this is the first year of trying this. I'm sure they're going to be fine. There's loads in there as well, so I'll just divide them up. And I don't know whether to plant them out today or not. I think because where I want them to go, that is where my Swiss chards are, and they are kind of, that is where I've seen the most snails in the garden this year. So I don't really want to plant them out yet. I might wait until I've cleared that area and then I'll plant them out there. Okay, there was something else I was going to do. Oh, I'm going to get rid of the... I'm finally cutting down all of the parsley, and I'm actually dehydrating it. I've got 2 trays in there now. There's another 4 trays, I believe, that I can fill up. So I'm going to cut loads of that, take that in with me now. And that should be it. Let me sow some of these. Oh, God. The gravel under this chair is like precarious. With the parsley, we actually used it quite a lot more than I was expecting. Because when you, I'm not like a cook. I don't cook very much. But like when you think of parsley, you don't really think like what does parsley actually go on? But we actually used it quite a lot, so I'm gonna grow it again definitely because it's so like really intensely flavored. Let me grab some pots and let's do. I'll do 2 pots again because the amount we had this year was, oh, sorry, last year was really good. Do I have any spare labels? Do I have any spare labels? Okay, I can't actually. Oh, there's one right there. Wait, do I have a pencil? No. Go from having too many pencils, too many labels, to having none. So, anyway. Right. I'm just going to do 2 very small pots of the parsley, but I'm going to multi-sow. So. There'll be loads. Oh, I was going to write that. I've got this China marker. It's like a wax. It's like a waxy chalk. So parsley. There you go. I got this with some labels for Christmas with from one of my friends, and it's worked out to be, if I can spell whilst talking, which I can't, it's worked out to be quite useful. So I don't know if you guys want to get yourself one, but they're good. You can just type right on the plant pot, like I just did. Right, cool. Okay, some parsley. Gonna sow my sunflowers. Gonna divide some of my, not now, but my marigolds in here are getting doing really well. So I'm gonna have to divide those as well. God, my mouth is open before my brain is finished thinking. Oops. Okay, I'll just dip some holes. You can't really see, I don't know. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, he's landed on one of my cacti. Right, so I'm just gonna, let's just do 2. Because these seeds came up really well last year. So I'm not worried about the germination. And I'm just gonna do a pretty big pinch in each one. Cool. Probably way too many, but there we go. Okay, and then cover them over slightly. Give them water. I actually think these are the last things that I'm going to be sowing this year, really. Like, unless I do multiple sowings of like the beetroots. What else would I multiple sow? Lettuce. But I think that's kind of going to be it. So I'll give those water. I've written on the sides. Also, look how cute my little cacti are. I've got loads of these. I don't really show them. I've shown them did I show them in a recent houseplant video? But I've got so many and they're growing so well right now. So maybe I'll show those. Right, say goodbye to the parsley. I'm half expecting it to just grow back when I cut it, but I might end up just digging it out. God, it's got some thick stems. Okay. Have you ever seen that much parsley? To be fair, this is the first time I've grown it, so it probably does this every year. I've just never experienced it personally before. Okay. Oh God, it looks so empty in here now. Okay, there we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go and process all of this parsley and get it dried. I think I'm only going to do the leaves. I'm not going to do any of the stems, but I'll do a quick Google to see what people do. And I'll leave it there. Thank you guys for watching. This was a bit of a shorter one. I think I'm going to start making them slightly shorter, only because I feel like the 50-minute mark is getting a bit intimidating for certain people, and like they're not. I don't know. I don't think many people are watching, but that may be nothing to do with the length of the video. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please do subscribe if you like, and I'll see you guys in my next video. There's probably a few things I missed out of this video that I said I was going to do, but I'll do them in the next one. Okay, cool. All right. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you later.